Hello, folks. This is Dr. John World Peace, JD, the only advocate of Jesus Christ. And this is the second video I've made tonight. Hopefully, I'll get up to 2 or 3 per night. I got a huge backlog. Let's just put it that way. Maybe 250 videos, something like that. And that's a priority for me each day to get 2, 3, 4, maybe more done. I think 3 is probably going to be my max. At any rate, we're going to talk about World Peace Teaching Peace, commentary, comments number 10,009, the coming showdown over Trump Republicans and racism. Below here, the video, you will see the details on contributions and some other links. I can't get this entire speech in the details section, so there's a link over to World Peace Teaching Peace.com / the Teach Peace curriculum, but that is on the description below, and if you want to read it, you can go there and read it. Also, I normally post on Facebook, on my Facebook account, I post these videos. I post the video, but under the video link, I will put the entire text. So there's a couple places you can go to get the full text of the video. All right, so no matter what, I can't understand the hold that Trump has on the Republicans. No amount of truth will shake his base away from supporting him. I do believe as we get closer to November 2022 elections and the potential of clashes with the police and National Guards in some of the states and blood in the streets, possibly, the Trump craziness is going to collapse. I don't believe this is going to last. I certainly don't believe it's going to last to 2024. There's too much tension in society, and something's got to give. When the 1860 Civil War took place, the rebels were all isolated in the South. Due to the lack of the decisiveness on the Union generals at the first of the war dragged on for 4 years. There were several opportunities in the first year of the war to shut down Robert E. Lee and end it. But McClellan just had the army. He had everything he needed. He just was a chicken. Could not go into battle and deal with seeing all kinds of dead men all over the place. Anyway, now we have these Trump Republicans intermixed everywhere. They're not all isolated in the southern states in the old Confederacy. They're in every neighborhood. Every neighborhood is integrated with pro and negative Trump voters. You can't have a civil war when somebody sticks his gun out the window and kills somebody. No way. I mean, it's not a battlefield. It'll never be a battlefield. And they're not going to agree to go off on some baseball field with their high-powered rifles and kill each other. So there's not going to be a civil war like that. It's not going to happen. Somebody's going to fire a gun, in a neighborhood, and the police are going to come and take them away, just like they always do. And if it gets too crazy, then the National Guard will come in. So forget about all these fools that march around in their army paraphernalia. And by the way, I'm a veteran. Half of these guys in these militia are not veterans. They missed the window to go in, and now they're trying to make up for it. And on the battlefield, those guys would just kill them, get killed. They'd be the first to go because they're stupid. I don't care how much militia training you have. It's not going to equal what you're going to get in the Army or Navy, Marines, or whatever. So they're all mixed in, and they are the minority, these Trumpers. So there's no way there's going to be a major battle. Not going to happen. When the military steps in with the drones and the other super high-tech offensive weapons, any confrontation is going to be short-lived with the Republicans dead in the streets. Once someone identifies himself as an insurrectionist, his or her days are numbered. You can't hide in the modern society. No one uses cash anymore. Once someone is identified, his or her ability to even buy a hamburger is going to be shut off. Also, any neighborhood, the residents know who the radicals are. Even if they do nothing, the cops and military are going to be moving quickly to round them up. It may take a month, but the super radicals are going to be rounded up, and the more bloodshed, the more the sane Republicans will exert an influence on their radical friends and take the energy out of the coast-to-coast insurrection. It's crazy. You're going to have pockets of these nutcases, and the police and the National Guard are going to come in real quick and deal with them. If they try to take hostages, like terrorists, the public will immediately turn on them. If they kill any children, that's it. The Trump insurrection is over. You tie these radical Republicans, these militiamen, these crazies with the killing of one single child, and Donald Trump is history, and all the Republicans with him. And that possibility is there moment to moment. And if it happens before the November elections here in 2022, Trump's gone. And he will take the entire Republican Party with him. The Republican Party is playing a very crazy game. They're playing it with a crazy Donald Trump and more crazy followers, armed. I mean, it is crazy. That kid that took his rifle to Portland or whatever to protect businesses and shot people in the street. That's nuts. But if he'd have shot a kid, the Trump database would go poop. The Trump base of radicals would go poop. It seems at this point, though, it's going to take a dramatic bloodletting. The tension is building and building. I'm surprised it would have just taken one insurrectionist or one cop to pull his pistol and go bang, 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 and all these guys would have drawn their guns, and there would have been a bloody mess at the Capitol. Most of them would have run out of the building, run for cover, but others would have just sit there and shot anybody. That's what I think. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I think it's going to be something like that, but not with 100 people dying, maybe 5 or 10, who knows. This is craziness going to the edge. So what's driving these Republicans? What's really at the base of their support of Trump? The only thing that's driving them at the base is white racism. I was raised in Houston, and it's enough of the South to reflect the racist attitude of the old South. I wrote a book last year called Raw White Racism. It's a short book, 84 pages, detailing my experience with white racism over my life, 73 years. It's for sale on Amazon. The link is below. For the last 20 years, the whites have begun to see that the Mexican immigration, South American, Central American immigration, and increased rates among the migrant workers and such were on their way to make whites a minority in America. Now the focus is on the blacks due to all the police murders. And we just took in who knows how many Afghanis. What the whites call wetbacks, ends, and the Arabs they call sand ends, are on the verge of turning white American what the Trumpies call muddy people. They're also looking at an increased number of non-whites on TV as reporters, newscasters, big city mayors, police chiefs. That seems to be an inroad for blacks, and they've taken advantage of it. I think most people who support Trump are not totally stupid. They know he's not someone you want living next door to you or personally involved in your world. But they know one thing for sure. He's a white racist. Above everything else, that is the foundation of his support. And it's a gigantic foundation. 25-30% of society. The Republican Party is above all else the white party. Any woman, any person of color that's a Republican has just been brainwashed. The Republicans have zero respect for women, and they certainly have no respect for people of color. The baby boomers are in their late 60s to late 70s right now. And within the next 10 years, their racism is going to be out of the mix as to presidential and U.S. Senate politics. The election of 2028 will have a small influence from baby boomers because they will all mostly have died off, and the ones who haven't died off are going to be in homes and being taken care of. I think the writing is on the wall that the whites are seeing is that the elections in 2022 and 2024 may put an end to the Republican Party. Other than state, county, and city elections after 2024, there'll be no national Republican Party. Only Democrats and independents. And I think over time, everybody's going to be an independent. Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia will see a migration of whites out of that state as blacks take over. And they're real close right now. Whites are not going to live in a black-dominated state. Not going to happen. The whites are going to be out of power in all American global corporations. The racist, fundamentalist, evangelist churches, if not all Christian churches, and big city mayors and police chiefs, as well as the top ranks of the military, are going to be people of color. So Donald Trump is the last great white hope. This 2022 election is going to be the writing on the wall as to the future of the Republican Party, and I'm sure that future is going to be R.I.P., rest in peace. Even with the white racism still entrenched in America, I do not believe it can hold on until 2024. Elections 3 years from now. With Trump off social media, he has essentially been castrated. His power now comes from rich white baby boomers, just like him, operating behind the scenes. They are pumping money into these state elections, these federal elections in the states. But even if they do okay in November this year, they will see that white power is going the way of the CSA, Confederate States of America. Have no doubt the whites will hold on to the economic power for at least another century. But after that, another century will bring the people of color close to the same level of power that the whites have in the year 2250. In the meantime, we have to pray for the least amount of chaos between now and November this year. But 70% of the Republicans think the election was crooked. I don't know what these people are going to say when they win. Well, is it again crooked? Did it all of a sudden somehow get straightened out, but nobody can point to anything that happened? The tension is building, and certainly the COVID is increasing that, but the COVID is putting people in the hospital and locking them down in their home. So I don't think we got to worry about any kind of blood in the streets for another couple months. But there is great anger. And Biden today lit a fuse when he said to the Republicans, you're either going to pass this Voting Rights Act and quit your nonsense within your states of gerrymandering and stopping people from voting. And if you don't work with us on that, we're going to kill the filibuster. And apparently there's a way for them to do it without any Republican votes. But in the next couple of days, we're going to see. Because like Schumer and Biden say, everybody's going to be on record. And this is an inflection point, a watershed moment in American society. This is a first big issue, this voting rights. If those states, those 19 states, are allowed to throttle back the voting the way they have with their legislation, there's going to be trouble. There's going to be a lot of it. the Republicans are not even showing up to the Biden speech on January 6th. They're fighting tooth and nail to slow things down and stop things. That goes all the way back to Obama. That was a gigantic slap in the face when a black man became president, but nobody was hollering about the race being rigged then. No, it took Donald Trump to come up with that. So it's about 9:30 here, January the 11th, 9:30 in the evening, Mountain Time. I will be producing these videos more and more frequently. There's a lot to talk about, and things do seem to be getting worse. This COVID is not going away. Have a good evening.